Hello students, so let us understand the concept of inheritance. Inheritance is a very important topic of any object-oriented programming language. So like it is in Java, important too. So once we understand inheritance, we actually understand what exactly is meant by reusability. Reusability is the concept of object-oriented programming in which we understand how the existing classes are reused in order to create new classes. We know that if there are certain classes existing, if we want to reuse them in order to create new classes, so we need not create the new class right from the scratch. You may actually inherit few properties which are present in one class and they can be reused in another class. So inheritance is in the similar way as we find it in the real world when a son inherits few of the properties of his father, and it contains few of the properties of its own too. So it is a relationship. It is also called as a relationship between the classes, and this relation is in the form of classes only. So if suppose there is a class A and if there is a class B, and we say that the class A was born before class B and is having certain properties as well as methods. So what the class A is having certain properties, and it is also containing certain methods, means behavior. So once I try to derive a new class from class B, means that it is trying to access few of the properties and few of the methods from the above class. Now once the class B inherits few properties and the methods from existing classes, we say that the class B is inherited from class A, or we also say that this class B is now a derived class, or it is also named as a subclass. And the class A, this is called as a base class. And if in terms of this relationship continues, now if suppose now the class C wants to derive from class B, so this class A will be called as the superclass, and this class C will also called as the new derived class. And in this kind of new relation, this class B will act as the base class for class C, and the relationship continues. So now the class B can be derived from class A. The class C, if it wants, it can directly derive from class A too. So from class A, new classes like class D can also be derived. So this will be creating an hierarchical tree, and we will find that on each level few of the classes which are acting base class for the down level classes, and the leaf classes or the classes which are at the bottom, they are called as derived only, or the subclasses only. Now all these derived classes, they actually derive properties and methods from the base classes. The similar relationship we need to understand through an experiment, while we'll see that a class B, if it wants, how this inheritance continues and how the properties which are inherited can be used in the derived classes, as well as the methods which are present in the base classes, how they can be used in the derived classes. This we will understand through this experiment. But one more thing I should tell you right now here is, in the programming language like C++, we actually understood inheritance there too. There we found that in case there are two classes at the same level like B and D, if a new class which wanted to be derived from both of the classes, like what if the class E is having two parent classes? Now this is not true in the case of Java language. This is called as multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance is not allowed in Java language, where in the case of C++ it was, but here we will not be doing it. So multiple inheritance means a class having more than one parent. So that is not allowed, more than one parent. So this is actually not accepted. We'll understand that this is somehow made possible using interfaces. Interfaces we'll learn when we'll be learning about abstract classes. Then we'll see that a class, if it tends to inherit from one class, it can inherit certain properties from or methods from an interface at the same time too. So that will be giving you a few as some kind of a flavor of multiple inheritance, but the thing like having more than one parent is not possible in Java language. So let us see through experiment how it is performed. Now here you can see that in my experiment I am having two classes. The one class that is in 1.java, it is public, and it's having a variable which is private. We'll actually we had already seen that private variables cannot be accessed in another classes. So it's no uses that we write here private. Either this, if we want that this variable, in order to be accessible in another subclasses, either it should have a protected class, protected access, default access, or the public access. So let us remove this access first, and we'll experiment it with protected as well as with public too. Let us save this. So now that we will make this class 1, which is present in package P1, will make as base class for the class 2, which is present in package P2. So now how it is to be performed. So let us remove this X from here. Now the class 2 doesn't have any property. I want that this class 2 should be inherited from class 1, which is having this integer X, right? So let us make this diagram first so that you may be able to understand. This class 1, it is having this int X, right? And now this class 2, this is having 0 data members. So once this class 2 inherits from class 1, so this X should become the property of class 2. So this is actually the property of inheritance. So how this chain or relationship is established. So we also have made it ground that class 2 is present in package P2 and class 1 is present in class package P1. So it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make any more difference, because this P1 and P2 we had actually created, and already these classes are belonging to different packages, and because this two classes are public within each package, so they will be made accessible in each other, right? So it will automatically work in, no need to worry about the packages. Both the classes can be there in the same package or in different packages too, like here we are experimenting with. So how to make class 2 a derived class? So once this class 2 is derived class, let us write keyword extends. So class 2 extends the name of its followed by the name of its derived base class. So now this class 2 is defined as a derived class and is extended from class 1. Class 1 is present in this P1 package and P1 is already imported. So no need to worry about this. So once you do it, what I do, I create an object of toClass. Now this OB is ready. So with OB I can access all of its properties. So what is the property of class 2? As you can see, there is no individual property of class 2, but it has inherited X from 1. So I can access this OB X with respect to OB. So this is one thing that you must understand. If this relationship is possible, this X is actually accessible with respect to OB. Once we know even that X is not a direct member of class 2. So how do we actually access? Let us use the statement. If it is able to access this X, our inheritance is complete, right? So let us just save this program and run this. Let's compile both the files, 1.java as well as 2.java. It is saying X is not public in 1, cannot be accessed from outside package. As I said, the default properties, they were accessible only within the same package. So if in case of this experiment, I would X to be inherited by class 2, this one, the definition of 1, like here, this X should not have default access modifier, it should have public access modifier. If the class 2 was a member of the same package, then this would have been directly possible. Right now it is not possible because class 2 is present in another package. So let us save it, go to the command prompt again and run both of the files. Now both the classes are ready. Now you can run class 2. Right, Java p2.2, and you will see that it is actually printing ob.x, which is 0. Even not only you can read it, you can assign a value to it. You can directly assign ob.x is equal to 100. So run this. Now that you had made changes into 2.java only, just do it and you can directly run it. You see it is printing 100. So now that this X is inherited. So this is how inheritance is done, and you can create one class derived from another class. And the rule I have shown you, the class and the properties should be public. You should always remember while inheriting one class from another, if the base class is present in another package, it should be public first. And then in order to access its properties, you should actually make that public. Now this was with respect to only a method. Let us create a method too. Let us inherit a method. Like for example, I have created a call method here. Now this is also public, and this is a method, a data member. It's a data member, and this is a member function. Now can I inherit this call also in public in this 2 class? So how can I do it? I can do it with respect to ob.call. So if this call to this function is possible, that means we are also able to inherit this function also from the base class. So let us run these classes. Compile both. Run 2.class, and you can see that this is done. So this is how in this experiment we had seen how a data member as well as a member function is inherited from a base class to a derived class. So that's all for this video. Let's meet in the next video.